I'm Carl, a designer here at Spice Roads. Of course, we would like you to buy our spice blends. They're inspired by different cultures and different regions around the world. But our primary focus is for you to return to the kitchen, to have some fun, and to entice your family back to the dining room table. We feel it is so very important to reconnect with food and family. Today, we will be doing acid. Not the hippie type of acid, but the acid that we use to prepare foods in the kitchen. You are old enough and wise enough to know that acid will peel the skin right off your bones. But battery acid proves my point. First of all, acid breaks down cells, and secondly, it tastes sour. Now, why is sour important? Sour comprises 1/5 of our taste buds. We like sour, or at least a little bit anyway. Sometimes we like sour so much that we just put sour on food for no real reason at all, other than to taste sour. Acid will lyse cells, allowing them to release flavor, to become more tender, and also to be preserved. Harmful bacteria is also killed by acid, and long-term storage is now possible of many foods. Pickling is very important. How else would we have pickled pig's feet on the bar? But before we discuss using acid for marinade, I must warn you there are a lot of characters on the internet who discuss things like you can't really cook with acid because cooking involves heat, or other cockamamie ideas like dry rubs are not a marinade because marinades must be liquid. I'm not here to refute, prove, or disprove any of those theories. What I want to do here today is to focus on how acids can be used to our benefit here in the kitchen. Our principal conversation today for using acid is how it has the ability to take flavor from one food, extract that, and impart it into another food. There are 4 basic principles to a quality marinade. First, there must be acid. Second, there must be an aromatic. Third, we must give it time. And fourth, it must be encapsulated or diluted. Let's talk about each one of those principles in a little bit more depth. Acids are from all over the place in the kitchen. Here we have a representation of many sources of acids in your typical kitchen. But we must understand that acids are not all created equal. Yes, each will impart its own flavor as well. But vinegar has more acid than does tomato juice. And tomato juice has more acid than sour cream. We also need to consider the flavor component that comes from those individual foodstuffs. Vinegar and pineapple juice and tomato sauce all have very different flavor profiles. The second thing we need to consider is aromatics. Aromatic simply means it smells, and some things smell more than others. Obviously, celery smells more than does a tomato. But when considering aromatics, we need to consider the strength of that smell. Aromatic simply means it smells. Not necessarily stinks, but smells. The word we use for vegetable matter that imparts flavor is aromatics. Aromatics can come in many forms. The type of aromatic we will use depends on our end produce. Certainly the aromatics for a cucumber salad would be different than making a marshmallow fluff. Aromatics are what stimulates the olfactory glands. Aromatic is also characterized by whether it's pleasant or unpleasant. Sweet basil and parsley are certainly aromatic, but so are sweat socks. But I have no intention of making a Nike stew. And now the consideration of time. Time is a direct result of 2 factors. One, how strong is the acid we're using? The stronger the acid, the less time, obviously, for it to extract the flavor from one food component, but also time is important for it to impart to the next component. And acids also tenderize, so time will be a factor in that situation as well. But just know that that transfer of flavor from one item to the next has a great deal to do with, again, the density and porosity of both foods, and also, as we discussed mechanically, the size and shape of those foodstuffs as well. The last principle of making a good quality marinade is encapsulation or dilution. When we are preparing a marinade and we've put the aromatics in that acid begins to go to work. Given the appropriate amount of time, it will degrade and lyse cells and extract that flavor. But if the acid's strong enough and we give it enough time, it can go too far. And going too far can make flavors become off and unpleasant, and it can also degrade food to the point where it's mushy and no longer pleasant. The way that we stop acid from doing its natural thing is two ways: by reducing the acid concentration through dilution, or by using a fat or oil of some type to actually encapsulate the aromatic and stop the acid from being able to continue its process, or at least slow it down significantly. Perhaps the more beneficial way of stopping the acid from doing what comes natural is by encapsulating the aromatics in fats or acids. There's a distinct advantage by using this method because, first of all, it does not dilute the flavor, and second of all, fats and acids will impart their own flavor notes. Let me go ahead now and demonstrate two simple marinades, one for vegetable and one for tropical fruits. And we can compare the two processes to see how they are different, but more importantly, to see how very similar they are. In this first marinade, I'll be using balsamic vinegar, a strong acid, but it also has a very distinct flavor profile of its own. In the second marinade, I'll be using pineapple. The juice in pineapple has quite a good deal of acid in it, but it also has a different flavor profile, meaning it's suitable to different foods. Now, as we talked about, for the acid, we need to add aromatics. So the first thing I'm going to do for this marinade is to add the balsamic vinegar. With that acid ready to go, I am ready to put in aromatic vegetable. Now, I could be doing aromatic onion and celery, and really love to do garlic, but with all of that, I've got a mess and time. Trading off the fresh aromatic with a spice blend from Spice Road is where this is extraordinarily convenient and in many ways more flavorful. For example, in the French Provincial, this has garlic and onion, but 3 different herbs, as well as a little celery, white pepper, and some other natural flavors. So by using this in the acid, I've got all my aromatics involved, and it really is that simple. In the second, we are going to use pineapple juice. Now, I could put all the pineapple in, but I only need a bit for this recipe. But I do want the juice. In that pineapple juice, I need aromatic. I plan to make a tropical fruit salad. However, banana and mango isn't particularly aromatic. Where I'm going to get the aromatics from is from the Your Sugar, My Spice blend. Now, this is designed to be mixed with half sugar of yours and half spice blend of ours. So I have that pre-mixed here. Your Sugar, My Spice component has more than just cinnamon. It's got cardamom and mace and white vanilla. We've also added a few other natural flavors. The way this works though is you use half sugar and half of our spice blend. You don't need to pay for sugar, and we don't need to pay for shipping. So I've used some of this in the pineapple juice so that it's sweetened, but those warm spices are also being taken care of in the acid. Now, for the vegetable marinade, I'm going to want some integral vegetable. I've decided to use some cucumber and some red vegetable. This is an Armenian cucumber grown from my garden. You won't find these in the store. And these are a baby English cucumber, which I also grow. They're delicious and very mild. Give that a quick toss, and we'll let that set for a while. Okay, we've given this marinade about 25 minutes. That's enough time, seeing how the balsamic vinegar is a fairly strong acid, and the vegetables themselves are reasonably porous, especially the tomato. So you can see already how the acid is degrading them, and see how that's becoming viscous around the outside cells. We don't want this to get away from us, so it's time to use the oil to encapsulate those vegetables and that aromatic and prevent the acid from continuing to go. It's still a good idea to add it relatively slowly for several reasons, mostly because then I'm not overloading it, trying to take oil out that I really can't take out. And as you can see, it's starting to float to the top of a little bit. It doesn't take a lot to encapsulate the vegetable, and that prevents the acid from continuing to run amok with the other vegetable. This is the tropical fruit salad that I've been talking about, and we have used the Your Sugar My Spice blend and used the acids in pineapple juice to extract that flavor. As you can see, that's just really pulled that flavor right out and into the liquid. Now this is full flavored, and the time on this has been about 40 minutes because I wanted that to really extract the flavor from the warm spices. Remember, our next principle is we want to encapsulate this so that the flavor transfer is no longer a problem. Now, the fat that I'm going to use to encapsulate the fruit salad is actually mayonnaise. You probably are aware that mayonnaise is about that much lemon juice and about that much egg and about that much oil. But the good thing of it is first of all, the oil and the lemon juice has been emulsified, which prevents it from separating. And then also, there's a nice delicate flavor that comes from the mayonnaise itself. But the greatest advantage in this situation is it's going to give me a cream look. And I'm going to finish cutting up a little mango. And now a tropical fruit salad. And here are two basic marinades, one with vegetable, one with fruit. They've both been made extraordinarily easy by using our spice blends from Spice Road. The vegetable was made easy by the herbs and vegetables that are already prepackaged. Because of that, no crying from onions and garlic, and no need to be measuring things out. I simply dump it in the acid, wait a while, and finish it off with the oil. And the fruit salad was made easy by using a blend, Your Sugar, My Spice. No measuring of sugar, no trying to balance flavors between cinnamon and other warm spices, just easy, dump, stir, blend, and done. I hope you enjoyed our lesson, and I'm going to be adding a few pecans because I like the crunch and the extra nutrition.